You know, you've got to feel bad for anime original stuff, especially nowadays, because a lot of it doesn't necessarily have the best reputation. And it doesn't necessarily stop there with its problems. If it's really bad, people blame that it's an anime original. But if it's really good, then, well, we have no source material, and then it just sort of ends, and we're all sad about it. But still, just because something doesn't have a source of any kind doesn't mean it's automatically going to be bad. And I'd like to try to disprove that theory. And what do we have here today? An anime about a guy and his best friend and their daughter, but they're also assassins. Ladies, gentlemen, and others, this is Buddy Daddies. The story starts off pretty simple. Our two main characters, Kazuki and Rei, are on a mission together where they have to take out a trafficker, and they run into a girl that will change their lives forever. Miri, who is 4 years old.
I've only had Arlo for a day and a half, but if anything happened to him, I would kill everyone in this room and then myself.
Miri's looking for her papa, who happens to be the trafficker that Rei and Kazuki are after. And he also happens to look exactly like Kazuki, because I guess it was easy to design that way. No, in all seriousness, since Miri has never actually met her father, it makes it all the more easy that she gets confused and thinks that Kazuki is her actual papa, which honestly I'd rather take, because her actual papa puts a gun to her head and holds her hostage. And then Rei does the responsible thing and kills him. Wow, the first episode. This show really isn't messing around, huh? Realizing that it might be a tad irresponsible to leave a child all alone, Rei and Kazuki decide to adopt Miri basically as their daughter, and that's where the show gets interesting. Rei and Kazuki have to do their best to hide the fact that they're assassins from Miri, even though it's really obvious considering everything they've been through together. Not to mention, in one of the first episodes, they end up taking her on a mission with them. But I think that's the point of this show. The point to show that Rei and Kazuki are not the best parents. Sure, they're pretty nice guys, but they are clearly out of their elements, and considering everything they go through earlier in their lives, you can kind of understand why, but we'll get to that later. Around this time, we really even start to see just how different they are. Kazuki does his best to be friendly with people and spend time cooking and cleaning, while Rei would rather stay inside and play video games, specifically Morio Kart. Yeah, Morio Kart. I guess even assassins have to avoid copyright, I guess.
It's a me, Mario.
Now some of you may be wondering, just where the heck is Miri's mom throughout all of this? Well, she's a singer, and she seemingly wants nothing to do with her daughter. She was taken advantage of by Miri's father, and her career basically got ruined because of it, and she was basically willing to let Miri walk and be out of her life forever. It almost makes it feel even sadder that Miri sees her mom and dad as these two great people. Knowing the truth from that age would really mess a kid up. So I'm glad that she never fully learned the truth in that regard. That being said, don't feel bad. There aren't only serious moments. There's a lot of comedic hijinks of Kazuki just randomly forgetting that he's not actually Miri's dad, or the fact that he forgets that Rei and him did not actually give birth to her. Seriously, Kazuki's transformation into basically a mom is kind of the best thing about this show. We also get some great stuff from Rei. He basically thinks of Kazuki as a freeloader, despite the fact that Kazuki's the one cooking, cleaning, and everything. But at the same time, it's kind of hilarious to see the two of them butt heads with each other, especially considering that these guys should be working well together as assassins, when in reality, well, they're both kind of lovable idiots. Heck, early on, Rei doesn't seem to want anything to do with Miri, but later he ends up opening up as her papa.
Miri. Miri.
Heck, we We even get a pretty funny moment when Miri acts like she likes Rei more than Kazuki, and Rei just has the smuggest look on his face while his best friend is just completely beside himself suffering. Yeah, I'd probably be doing the same. Honestly, the idea that our three main heroes are all basically children, no matter how old they are, really provides some levity throughout the series and some really funny moments too. We also get to meet a friend of Rei and Kazuki's, Kiyotaro. He basically acts like the middleman, giving out missions and payment to Kazuki and Rei, and ultimately we don't learn that much about him, which is kind of sad, but he really works in the role he's given. The guys are somewhat scared of him, but they also will rely on him for stuff, which is probably a bad idea. Seriously, in one episode, he lies to Miri about their jobs and says that Kazuki is a failed stand-up comedian, while Rei is a Middle Eastern oil baron. That's one idea. Now, some of you guys might be saying, well, Alex, just look at the picture that Miri drew. It looks like they're husband and wife with the tuxedo and the white dress, like a bridal dress. But I don't think that's true. I think Kiyotaro just has a really messed up sense of humor and just likes sticking it to the guys. Man, what a jerk. But I do kind of respect it. But now we have to talk about everyone's favorite character, the star of the show, Miss Anna. Yeah, it might sound like I'm joking, but people grew to love this woman immediately. I mean, I get it. She's nice, kind, helpful. Just don't let her play piano around you because it's pretty diabolical. No, in all honesty, let's talk about Miri, the 4-year-old protagonist. Why do I keep saying she's 4 years old? Well, she keeps saying it, so why shouldn't I at this point? Honestly, the writers really nailed this character. She feels exactly like a kid, in the sense of there are plenty of moments where she's super nice, helpful, and funny, and her innocence is really refreshing, especially with all the stuff that her papas are going through. She finds plenty of ways of showing how much she loves them, showing kindness towards other people, and really just making you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. You can tell she's finding a way to make her papas better people, and happier people at the same time. On the other hand, she's also a 4-year-old child, which means she can be loud, obnoxious, whiny, selfish, and there are just moments where, honestly, you don't want anything bad to happen to her per se, but if she was left out of the episode, you might not feel all that bad. Honestly, it sounds like I'm trashing the writing of her, but I'm really not. 4-year-olds can do that. They can be super lovable or super obnoxious, and frankly, there was never too much of her being obnoxious for me to completely hate the show. So it was a good balancing act. Now, some of you may have guessed or completely ignored that I'm leaving out a certain detail. I'm ignoring the elephant in the room. Is Buddy Daddies just a Spy Family ripoff? No, it's not. It feels different. Based on what everyone's told me of Spy Family, the two main characters are these badass, cool people who need to stick together no matter what, especially with their child. Buddy Daddies is about two losers who can be cool when they want to be, basically failing a lot, but still doing their best for their child, who in all honesty, they probably shouldn't have. Seriously, a lot of the characters regularly point out that they should not be with Miri. They should not have this child, but no matter what, they want to stick by her because they're her papas. There. We ended the discussion of whether they're the same show or not. Also, I say this with little to no knowledge of Spy Family because I've never actually seen it. Okay, moving on. There have been a lot of happy, cutesy moments. It's starting to get old. Man, I want to see some drama. These guys are supposed to be assassins, so let's see some dark moments. Let's see some sad stuff.
Yes!
Oh, we learned that Kazuki had a wife and a child who both died in an explosion. Not only that, but he hates himself for it, and that's why he's so scared to open up again because of losing somebody he cares about. And then his wife's sister Karin says that she misses him and that he needs to move on but still find a way to keep his wife's memory alive. Oh, that's beautiful. I was not expecting that. I mean, I had the feeling his wife was gone, but this episode is just fantastic with the way he handles it. At the last part of the episode, we even see that he's hung up a picture of him and his wife, and it's so touching. It's beautiful. I love this. And now we see that Rei's family was filled with assassins, and he was brought up as such, and he really couldn't experience love of any kind. And we see just how much of an impact Miri has on him. and they throw him a birthday party and he's smiling? Wow, wow. This show's starting to get to me, guys. I don't know what to tell you. What are y'all looking at? Men can cry, leave me alone. Sorry about that. No, but in all seriousness, this show does that to you. You think you're getting happy, cutesy moments, and you are, but then you get the receipt, which is a lot of feelings and tears. Well, at least for me a couple of seconds ago. The show does a really good job of balancing things, despite the fact that there are some dark truths and some serious moments and even some relatably sad stuff. There's tons of goofy moments, heartwarming stuff, and just stuff that'll get you through the day and make you not regret watching it. It's a really good balance, and I'd like to think that if we ever got more of this series, that they'd be able to keep up with that. But I think one of the best things about this show that people don't talk about all that much is just how accepting the characters are. The fact that Miri is raised by two dads means nothing to anybody. Just the fact that she's happy is what's important. There are no really bad jokes about Rei and Kazuki and if they're together or if they're not. There's nothing like that. People just see Miri, see that she's happy, and move on with their day. I love seeing stuff like that. Besides, she's bound to be happy. Have you seen the way they dress up when they go to daycare? Seriously, half of those moms are ready to have their husbands murked by Rei and Kazuki just because of how they dress. Now, I'm not going to spoil the ending of this because it's still relatively new, but I will say a few words about a certain character named Ogino. You sad, wet sock excuse of a human being with your giant-ass forehead. Get lost, you churl, you troglodyte, you son of a motherless goat. Nobody likes you. Wow. So, apparently I don't like him. My bad. If I did have to say one flaw about the show, I do feel like there could have been a little more action. I mean, these guys are supposed to be assassins, and sure, they don't necessarily love doing it, but when the action scenes are so good and feel so realistic, you kind of want to see more of them. Not that it ruined the show, but it definitely made me want more of the action scenes. But ultimately, Buddy Daddies is a really fun ride. The characters are lovable and realistic. There's some heartbreaking stuff that you want to see our heroes overcome, but there's also some heartwarming stuff when you start to realize that they might be changing for the better. Also, just the utter chaos and insanity of the hilarious moments really just gets you in a good mood. So whether you can get through it completely stone-faced, or you end up crying through it like Kazuki did during the Field Day episode, I think at some point we can all get together and enjoy this show. So make some delicious looking French toast, get your Morio Kart ready, and do whatever you can to prevent Miri from wanting to marry Kiyotaro, because apparently they had to do that scene, because why not? I swear to God, every anime has to do something like this to me. Overall, you will really enjoy this show. I highly recommend it. But anyways, let me know what you guys think of Buddy Daddies. Have you never seen it before? Are you still not interested? Did you love it just as much as I did? Just anything in between, and be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that other nonsense. This is Alex of the Anime Egotist saying, do your best to be a fan who helps, not hurts. See you guys next time.